On November 1st, Give, a year-end philanthropic initiative, kicked off another campaign to encourage everyone in the Pikes Peak region to give back and get involved with local nonprofits. Over the last 5 years, Give has channeled $3.4 million directly to 113 local nonprofits while giving them access to matching grants, media exposure, and dozens of hands-on training opportunities from local and regional experts. It is a project of the Colorado Springs Independent Alternative News Weekly and is conducted under the fiscal sponsorship of the Pikes Peak Community Foundation. During the months of November and December, the KCME Culture Zone will talk to some of the local nonprofit artistic organizations that have been recipients of this year's Give campaign. This week, I speak to Sarah S. Shaver and Max Ferguson of the Springs Ensemble Theatre about their participation in the Give campaign. KCME welcomes back Sarah S. Shaver and Max Ferguson of the Springs Ensemble Theatre. And welcome. Thank you both for coming out.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
And we're going to talk about the Indy Give campaign, of which the Springs Ensemble Theatre has been participating in for a few years, and once again participating this year.
This is our third year. We took a year off last year to sort of reevaluate our resources and what the best expenditure of those was, but we quickly realized that to not do Indy Give was a very poor allocation of our resources. so we're back and super excited to be participating.
Well, firstly, tell me a little bit about the theater itself. What makes SET different from a regular theater?
As we were getting ready for our Indy Give campaign, there was a sort of a catchphrase that came out in one of our brainstorming sessions around one of the writing submissions they wanted, and that was that we create big theater in a little space.
That's right.
And so it's really the intimacy at Springs Ensemble Theatre that makes it most unique in town. It's a 50-seat black box, so the action is right on top of you.
And we move the seats however we set it up in a different way each time. So it could be proscenium style, it can be thrust. We've done it in the round before. So every time you walk in that room, you're in a new place, a new seating arrangement. And like Max said, there is really like 2 feet between you and an actor at some points. It's real intimate.
It gets to be a concern sometimes during the blocking of the actual productions. As a director, you have to go and sit there in the front row and sort of put your legs out and figure out where the place is.
And say, how close is this fight call, or how is this?
Is there a splash zone, so to speak?
But the nice thing about the intimacy as well is that you can read the expressions, you can see every flinch, every blink, every swallow, that an actor does, and you're a fly on the wall. You are right there.
Well, that's what's nice. It encourages a more subtle style of acting.
That's right. It's more filmic than venue. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And when you're sitting there and the action's going on maybe 3 feet away from you, and with the performance of Rattlesnakes, I found myself drawing my legs up, not voluntarily, because it's right there in your face. Now, would it be correct to say that SET features mostly edgy productions or productions that challenge the audience?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we do modern, contemporary. We like to do a lot of new plays. We're not afraid of language or nudity or asking some really hard questions and starting some hard conversations. So that's what I'm really proud about, is the types of plays we choose are conversation starters, conversations that need to be had.
Well, and they're relevant to the time and place that they're being produced in. I think if you look at the issues of our time and the things that confront people on their daily lives, whether you want to laugh at those things or cry about them.
Or both at the same time.
Yeah, or both at the same time, which I personally love that state. If I can have an audience laughing and terrified, or any other number of contradictory states of being, I just feel like that's what serves our audience, because really you want the theater to be certainly a place where you can sit back and be entertained, but at the end of the day, isn't it better if you've been entertained and then 2 or 3 days later you're still going, I have to, I'm still sort of running through this in my mind, trying to sort out how I think about it or feel about it.
Not fluff for fluff's sake, and not, edgy just for edgy's sake. There is something to be absorbed in what we do in an entertaining way. So, thanks.
Let's touch on the history of the SET. How long has it been around, and how did it come about?
Well, we're entering our 6th season. There was a group of actors, designers, producers, directors, who didn't feel like they were getting the kind of exposure and opportunities to produce, especially our female members. And so we decided to start this thing, and it was going to be ensemble based, so any one of us could pitch shows and have it up for consideration, which is not the way most theaters work. Most theaters have an artistic director who selects the things and then tells you what you can be a part of. And so with this, it's like a lot of, I don't know, kind of reminds me of a potluck, or you all each bring something to the table, and you each get to build a piece of it. And because we've worked so closely together, we have I have an idea of how Max works and what he's good at and how he can fit into the rest of the things we've got going on, and he knows that he can count on me for certain things. And so it's a really nice relationship with each of the members. We count on each other, and a great working relationship, I'd say.
Yeah, I think what's important to me about the formation of set that has carried on through time is that space to step outside yourself and challenge yourself with projects as an artist that you might not get the chance to do so in other venues in town, because there, in any theater scene, there are limited opportunities, especially when it comes to leadership positions. And
that's true. Because if you were just doing stuff in town in the other venues, you would be musical Max.
Yeah, I would be an actor.
I would be costumer Sarah. That's who I would be. And we're not that, We're directors and producers and actors and all of the designers.
Sarah sings too, actually.
Well, what's cool is you can wear a lot of different hats.
That's right.
Like you said, just a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the summer camp you have for kids.
Oh, that's right. We do.
Steve Emily said it actually started before the theater itself.
That's right. Well, we actually had a bunch of teachers when we first started. We had like 5 or 6 secondary teachers, and so we said, well, this is kind of a great opportunity to use our talents as teachers, and we each got to teach 1 or 2 workshops to high school age, middle school, high school age students, and it's a week-long kind of camp, and we each bring you do monologue workshops.
Or scene study, emphasizing verbs or movement, or we'll do the
subtext and
improv. Steve Emily will tend to do like film acting.
Or audition prep. So it's great.
And a lot of fun for kids.
And we like to think good outreach for the community. We've actually seen former camp members who've
become members
or
be on our stage. So we've
You're listening to a special interview on the KCME Culture Zone. I'm speaking to Sarah S. Shaver and Max Ferguson of the Springs Ensemble Theatre about their participation in this year's Give campaign and more. If folks want to check out Springs Ensemble Theatre, they can go to your website at Springs Ensemble Theatre, and that's THEATRE.
That's correct.
That's right.
Yes.
The concept, not the place.
Now, to check out your part with Indy Give, it's indygive.com, then /SET, and you can learn about the Springs Ensemble Theatre if you know nothing about it, and see what's going on. And folks are on the website indygive.com and looking around. Why should people give to Springs Ensemble Theatre?
That's a great question. Well, and I have some answers, So we do a lot with the little that we have. We spread that dollar real effectively and efficiently. And
if you do want to include maybe for example, like a solid number example.
Sure.
So, for instance, our most recent show, Rattlesnakes, the expenditures on that show for the set and the props and the sound, everything not including the rights, which is by far our biggest expense. We spent $300 approximately to produce the show, and we had a net gain or whatever of more than $2,500.
Well, and so the royalties for our shows, we are picking like modern, edgy, awesome, cool pieces, and royalties can be $75 a performance or $125 a performance. So for a run of a show,
by far our biggest expense,
$1,200 could be going just to royalties.
To pay for the right to produce
perform
that
it.
show.
So that's not, we're not paying actors, we're not paying directors, we're not paying any of that stuff. We are, creating sets out of our stock and our brains and our sweat. But like June Barfield, she built the Desdemona set for $180, and that was a PPAC nomination.
Nominated set. And so this would be up against the however many thousands of dollars they spend at TheaterWorks, or the tens of thousands of dollars I think they maybe spend at the Fine Arts Center. And our production aspects are landing right there alongside them in terms of critical acclaim and awards. And I think that's an indicator of the way that we provide value for the artistic dollar or donor dollar here in the Springs. I think it's also worth recognizing the fact that throughout the state, set is up into Denver and places north. Set is starting to have a reputation for excellence that I think brings a different perspective to Colorado Springs than some of the sort of negative stereotypes that get spread around.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really great reason to give to set.
Here's the thing: as a young donor, as a person who is maybe couldn't consider myself a philanthropist because I just don't have that kind of funds, but I, as a community college professor, can feel good about putting my little bit here and there in the community, in a community I love, to make it better and to support the things that I love about this community. And set is one of those things. And in fact, each of the members have put our money where our mouth is. We
That's
provided a matching grant for
the company.
For the donations that are coming in for Indy Give.
Nice.
So we have actually, we besides paying
We've got
dues
skin
every
in the
year,
game, yeah.
we have skin in the game.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
believe in this company enough to put our own money into it.
I had a really interesting interaction, if I could share real quick today, with one of the teachers at the yoga studio I go to, and she was talking about how she doesn't really like movies necessarily, and television's not really her thing, but there's something about going to the theater and how that experience of watching a real person or a real group of people tell a story right in front of your eyes and how it happens, and it's a unique and vital thing every single performance, that's something that she always enjoys. Even if it's not the best show she's ever seen, she always has a good time going to the theater.
Which wouldn't happen at set, right?
Well, no, but the bad show part, we only put on good shows.
That's it,
But I think it's really important to point out that we are a group of people from the community who has come together to provide excellent theater for the community at a really affordable price. You can get into set for $10 or $15, depending on the show, and I think that's a really unique service that we provide.
I've been speaking to Sarah S. Shaver and Max Ferguson of the Springs Ensemble Theatre, and the SET is participating in the Indy Give campaign going on right now until the end of the year. For more information, you can log on to indygive.com/SET, and you can also check out the Springs Ensemble Theatre at springsensembletheatre.org. And Max and Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us, Keith, again.
Yeah.
You've been listening to a special interview on the KCME Culture Zone. This week I've been talking with Sarah S. Shaver and Max Ferguson of the Springs Ensemble Theatre about their participation in the Give campaign. Give is the Colorado Springs Independent's year-end citywide multimedia campaign designed to generate funds, volunteers, and applause for nonprofit organizations in the Pikes Peak region. For more information on the Give campaign and how you may participate, log on to indygive.com.